happens when Hollywood's most elegant starlet becomes the target of scandalous headlines, whispered affairs, and perfume betrayal? How does a woman known for grace and silence fight back against the roaring chaos of the press? And why did one of Britain's most feared lawyers step in, not with a sword, but with a legal scalpel? This is not just the story of Nicole Kidman. This is the story of reputation warfare, fought behind closed doors, where mediation replaced courtroom drama and dignity became the ultimate weapon. From the icy hills of Cold Mountain to the velvet corridors of Chanel's empire, Nicole faced defamation, libel, and betrayal. And she didn't just survive. She conquered, quietly, brilliantly, legally. So buckle up, because we're diving into the untold saga of how Nicole Kidman turned scandal into strategy, and why her whispered victories still echo through the halls of Hollywood. Nicole Mary Kidman was born on June 20, 1967, in Honolulu, Hawaii, a place where the waves hum lullabies and the air smells like coconut sunscreen. Her father, Dr. Anthony Kidman, was no ordinary dad. A clinical psychologist and biochemist, he was the kind of man who could quote Joan before breakfast and still fix a leaky faucet by lunch. Her mother, Janelle Kidman, was a nursing educator, tough as teakwood, tender as silk. But paradise was temporary. The Kidmans returned to Sydney, Australia, when Nicole was just 4. Why? Because Anthony had accepted a prestigious academic post, and the family wanted to raise their daughters in a culture that valued intellect, emotional depth, and the arts. Sydney was no Hollywood, but it had its own rhythm. A place where books were devoured, feelings were discussed, and creativity was sacred. Nicole was painfully shy, not just quiet, invisible. She once described herself as a red-haired ghost in the corner of the room. Her height made her self-conscious, her pale skin made her stand out, and her introversion made her retreat. But inside that quiet shell was a storm of imagination. Her father, ever the psychologist, encouraged her to take mime classes to overcome her anxiety. Yes, miming. And it worked. Nicole discovered that performance gave her a voice louder than words. The stage became her sanctuary, a lighthouse guiding her through the fog of adolescence. By 16, she was acting professionally. Her breakout role in Bush Christmas made her a local star. By 22, she was cast opposite Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder. And just like that, the red-haired ghost became a global phenomenon. Nicole and Tom Cruise married on Christmas Eve 1990. It was a union forged in fame. 2 megastars, 1 mansion, and 1,000 flashbulbs. They adopted 2 children, Isabella and Connor, partly due to Nicole's ectopic pregnancy, which left her unable to conceive at the time. Their family became a symbol of Hollywood perfection. For a decade, they were royalty. Red carpets, Oscars, private jets. Nicole played the elegant queen, Tom, the charismatic king. But behind the scenes, the palace was cracking. Tom's deepening involvement with Scientology began to dominate their lives. Nicole, raised in a household of science and psychology, found herself increasingly alienated. Meanwhile, her own star was rising, Moulin Rouge, The Others, and a Best Actress Oscar for The Hours. Whispers of tension grew louder. Nicole later said, "I thought our life together was perfect. It wasn't." In 2001, Tom filed for divorce, without warning. Nicole was blindsided. The split was settled privately, but it marked a turning point. She became fiercely protective of her image, understanding that in Hollywood, reputation isn't just currency, it's survival. In 2003, Nicole was filming Cold Mountain with Jude Law, the British actor whose cheekbones could slice marble and whose charm could melt glaciers. Jude was married to Sadie Frost, but their marriage was already wobbling like a 3-legged stool. Then came the whispers. Nicole and Jude were having an affair. The tabloids erupted. Headlines screamed betrayal. Sadie and Jude's marriage collapsed shortly after. But Nicole, ever the dignified warrior, was furious. She had been falsely accused. Nicole didn't rant. She didn't tweet. She called Keith Schilling, London's most feared libel lawyer, known for defending J.K. Rowling and Naomi Campbell. Schilling specialized in quiet victories. Behind closed doors, mediation began. Nicole demanded a retraction and damages. The publication, realizing it had poked a lioness, backed down. The matter was settled privately. No trial, no apology. Just a silent, surgical win. Nicole's quote from that time? "I protect my name. That's all I have." Nicole's upbringing had taught her that perception is power. Her father's lessons in psychology became her shield. She understood that in the age of paparazzi and pixels, a single false headline could cost millions. Her strategy? Swift legal action. Private mediation. Minimal drama. She never dragged anyone through the mud. She simply made it clear, you lie about me, you pay. It was the early 2000s, and Nicole Kidman had just emerged from the wreckage of her marriage to Tom Cruise, a union that had once been the crown jewel of Hollywood. She was no longer the shy girl from Sydney, nor the porcelain doll beside Cruise on red carpets. She was her own empire now. But empires attract invaders. It was 2003. Nicole Kidman had just won an Academy Award for The Hours. Her divorce from Tom Cruise was still fresh, and she was filming Cold Mountain, a sweeping Civil War romance opposite Jude Law. The chemistry on screen was electric. Off-screen, British tabloids decided to write their own script. They alleged that Nicole and Jude were having an affair. The twist? Jude was married to Sadie Frost, part of London's bohemian Primrose Hill set. Their marriage was already wobbling, but the press painted Nicole as the homewrecker. The rumors were false, but they were everywhere, splashed across headlines, whispered at premieres, and dissected in gossip columns like a Shakespearean tragedy. Nicole's reputation was hanging by a thread. She had just emerged from a high-profile divorce, was rebuilding her public image, and had become a symbol of grace and resilience. One false story could unravel it all. As her lawyer later told the High Court, the article caused considerable embarrassment and distress, and implied she had led Jude Law to cheat on his wife. Nicole didn't storm the tabloids with fury. She summoned Keith Schilling, London's most feared libel lawyer. His client list read like a red carpet: Naomi Campbell, J.K. Rowling, and now Nicole Kidman. Rather than drag the tabloids through a public trial, Schilling proposed mediation, a quiet, strategic negotiation behind closed doors. The goal? A retraction, damages, and dignity. The publication issued a formal apology, paid damages, and vowed never to repeat the allegations. Nicole didn't pocket the money. She donated it to Farah, a Romanian children's charity where Cold Mountain had been filmed. No trial, no public drama, just a clean, dignified win. Nicole's words? I protect my name, that's all I have. In 2005, Nicole signed a deal to become the face of Chanel No. 5. It was a match made in marketing heaven. Elegance meets legacy. Her ethereal beauty, paired with the world's most iconic fragrance, was a branding masterstroke. But then the Daily Mail struck again. They published an article suggesting Nicole had snubbed Chanel by backing out of a previous deal. The implication? That she was flaky, unprofessional, and disloyal. Nicole was livid. This wasn't just gossip, it was sabotage. Her lawyers argued that the article caused grave damage to her reputation and commercial interests. Once again, mediation was the weapon of choice. The Daily Mail issued a retraction and paid damages. Nicole didn't gloat. She simply said, the truth matters, even when it's inconvenient, a line that could silence a newsroom. Nicole's father, Dr. Anthony Kidman, had taught her the value of emotional resilience. A clinical psychologist and biochemist, he once told her, people will try to define you, don't let them. Nicole took that lesson to heart. Her legal battles weren't about money, they were about identity. She understood that in the age of paparazzi and pixels, a single false headline could cost millions, and more importantly, her integrity. Her strategy? Swift legal action. Private mediation. Minimal public drama. She never dragged anyone through the mud. She simply made it clear, you lie about me, you pay. Keith Schilling, Nicole's legal knight. His tactic? Mediation first, litigation only if necessary. He didn't just win cases, he erased them from memory. Jude Law, the unwitting co-star in a scandal. He never commented publicly, but insiders say he was mortified by the rumors. His silence was his apology. Tom Cruise, her ex-husband, whose silence post-divorce was deafening. Their split remains one of Hollywood's great unsolved mysteries. Sadie Frost, Jude's ex-wife, who later wrote in her memoir that the affair rumors felt like a dagger to the chest. Her pain was real, but the source was fiction. Nicole has admitted she was too quiet in the face of early attacks. She didn't speak out. She didn't defend herself. She let the silence do the talking, and sometimes silence is misinterpreted. But she learned. She adapted. She became a tactician. Her regrets? Not speaking out sooner. Not defending herself more vocally. But she found her voice, in courtrooms, in mediation chambers, and in the quiet power of retraction letters. She didn't need a megaphone. She had the law. Before you go, don't forget, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the dazzling drama of Nicole Kidman's life behind the headlines, make sure to follow us for more jaw-dropping stories, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so you never miss a moment when we drop another intriguing tale from the vault of fame, fire, and finesse.